I'm gonna.
Oh, official.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this rainy Thursday. Cool. Should we dive straight into question number four?
Yes.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
Let's explain the role of critical pedagogy in bilingual and ESL classroom. Identify ways in which you could begin to implement and practice in your own teaching and learning. And there's more to the question, but maybe we can just start with that.
I really liked on page like 101 it said critical pedagogy emphasizes problem posing, reflective thinking, knowledge gathering, collaborative decision making. And then later it said it recognizes knowledge is always partial and always problematic, which challenges like typical approaches to um knowledge and literacy. Um I thought that was especially impactful just because I guess I feel like critical pedagogy, I feel like ties to like critical thinking and thinking about like what the problem is and who it affects.
Yeah, I know from like teaching, I don't always like at first when I was reading it, I was like, I don't necessarily like want to provoke conflict like in the classroom because that
Mhm.
could like, I don't know, it feels like things would be chaotic. But then it's also like it's more than that. I feel like it's just being like culturally aware, and usually kids are good people, so they like do
Mhm.
the right thing. It's not going to be like some crazy insurrection or anything. Um, So I think it's great, like telling them about the world and how it like really, really operates. And
Yeah, I agree with you guys a lot. Um, I think one of the big roles of critical pedagogy and like kind of how we use it is like to empower the students.
Mhm.
Um, and like they're not just sitting passively learning, right? Like we want to empower them to act upon whatever. Maybe it's a social conditions that they're living in or injustices that they see or experience themselves. Like we want to be able to like address things like that, whether it's like race or um, like gender or ethnicity or like inequality. We want to teach them to be able to apply their knowledge.
Yeah. I feel like I have this thought a lot, but like especially in our field, like obviously like the four of us are doing like environmental education and like specifically like about nature. And I think like a part of the critical pedagogy in our field could definitely be thinking about like environmental issues and specifically about like environmental justice and I guess just like thinking more about why each of those things is problematic and how it is impacting different communities disproportionately, which I know is not necessarily the same as critical pedagogy, but I think in our field that might be a good application of it.
Yeah, it's helping them find meaning in their lives. I like that,
Right.
Ellie.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, with like the environmental issues, posing environmental justice issues to them. I like I don't know what page, but said critical pedagogy is more of like a problem solving education than
Mhm.
treating students as like containers to bank information in. Um, so yeah, I think solving problems and environmental justice in our field is kind of what critical pedagogy is all about.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, I know with my kids, like I might have mentioned this in one of the chats already, but like I try to teach them to be like conscious consumers, you're not just gonna like eat up what everybody tells you or what every teacher tells you. Um, they should be challenging powers and in the classroom and outside of the classroom. Um, yeah.
I thought another like excerpt of the book that was really beautiful on page 112. This is not an exact quote, I don't think. But in my notes, I have multidimensional learning celebrates life and complexity. It is important because creative intelligence allows students to apply what they know. Um, and I feel like in teaching, like we've been talking a lot about emergence and being okay with not knowing the answers per se. Um, and I think critical pedagogy is part of that because obviously there are so many problems in the world that are problematic and that we as society don't have the answers to. Um, and so I think this like fits beautifully with like learning alongside students as both them and us are recognizing um, issues with a critical lens.
Makes it so much more enjoyable too, like when you can learn alongside them. I feel like when I first started teaching, I tried to like play that role where I was like always had the right answer and like, I'm like the old wise teacher, but um I find it so much easier too to just like drop that guard and just like share the power, and we're all learning together.
We
Yeah.
taught fourth graders today. And let me tell you, fourth grade standards are hard. This is all about like circuits and electricity. Ain't none of us know how that stuff works. So I
Well,
think we
I
really
yeah,
blocked
I
that.
did not get my solar panel to work. I was like, I don't know, guys.
I couldn't
I,
get the water turbine to work. I thought it was because the kids were doing it wrong. But
I
I
was
thought it
like,
was broken, but turns out they were doing it wrong.
I know as much as you guys. Let's figure this out. We didn't figure it out, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah,
tangent,
totally. So
tangent.
that answers the second part of the questions, kind of some of the ways that we can implement this in our own teaching and learning. If anyone else wants to add anything there, the kind of next part of the question also is like risks associated with the pro social justice agenda in the classroom activities. It's kind of a mouthful, but it's kind of like what we were talking about like earlier, Ali, you were mentioning environmental justice issues and all that. So yeah, if anyone wants to go from there, otherwise we can move on. Either about ways we can implement them in our classroom or in our teaching and learning, or any risks associated.
Like what we were talking about and like what Kevin you mentioned about like kind of decentering the teacher. We've been talking about this like in our class and kind of just amongst ourselves recently. And I feel like it's a big like to kind of humble yourself and put yourself in the shoes of the students and also like come alongside them and learn with them is like how you can support them and like really build that community style classroom of like we're all in this together and that we're going to learn together and like everybody here is valued. And so it kind of like lessens that like power dynamic and you're really like getting into the nitty gritty. Um, but I think like talking about the risks associated with like taking a pro social justice like stance in your classrooms, um, I feel like it sometimes goes against like mainstream norms. And I think a lot of people try to avoid it because it's like topics like inequality or like poverty or have to do with race and they're viewed as like political topics, like political, which I mean in a way they could be or they are, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't like address them or talk about them, um, and like bring them to light if there is a problem or if there is an issue. So I think that part can be hard because a lot of people will see it as political and they don't want that conversation.
Yeah, I feel like whenever there's like a big change in teaching, it's like somebody's gonna be upset. It's like somebody's gonna like be an uproar, like we don't have, it's just not the same as it was before. Like I'm sure all of us when we were in school, it was kind of like sit down, like be quiet, listen to this. And now it's just we're changing and it's you just got to be ready for it, It's I guess they're calling it pro-social, but it's I feel like it's just valuing the students.
One of our books, I don't remember which one it was, but something said all knowledge is inherently political. And that's because it exists within the political context of all of our lives. And so I feel like by actually bringing up topics that like are considered like mainstream political, I feel like it helps to put that in context and to actually help students realize how the things that they're like their ways of thinking and the things that they know like actually are political and relevant to their lives as well.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. Well, that was a lot of good points on that question. Maybe we can move on and hit one more um, before we wrap up. Does anyone have a question that stood out to them? Or if not, I can pick one. I was kind of looking at question 7 a little bit, but I'm open to anything.
Hmm. Did you have any ideas on that one? I'd be curious.
Yeah. Um, so innovative and creative ways that teachers can use social media, basically, smartphones and video cameras to enhance both the content and process of school curriculum. And kind of like Kevin was just saying, like moving away from traditional teaching and like sit down and just listen. Instead, at Walking Mountains recently, we've been doing some cool things like making skits, recorded movies, making like short films, creative pieces, and more ways to make the learning more active and less passive. And yeah, I think that's a big way that critical pedagogy kind of plays a role in that. If anyone else has any other things that they do, they want to add.
Yeah, I like one of the students actually today was like, "Do you still have that video from summer camp we made on like?" I was like, "I wish, but I think it'd be cool to be able to like emphasize that and like post it somewhere they can view it again." Because she was like, "If we get a chance, can we watch it again?" I'm like, "I honestly don't know how to like
Yeah, it
get
goes
to
to
that."
show how memorable it can be.
Yeah, yeah, it's from the summer, so. Um, yeah, I'd be curious to see how like the social media can play. And I don't know, I feel like I just always taught kindergarten and first grade, so maybe I just don't have any like I never thought about that, but I think that'd be interesting to implement that.
Yeah,
Well,
we oh sorry. You want me to go real quick? Just real quickly, we just used like the technology is moving so quickly, and we were just using AI, Kevin, to make a new curriculum, and we made a new story and whole curriculum kind of using AI. So that's another
Hey,
way
I did not use AI for that.
creatively.
Oh, the pictures,
just
the
the pictures for it, yeah.
Sorry, I worded that wrong, but
pictures. No, you're fine. I was like,
Great.
the pictures though. The pictures were fun.
Yeah. On the point of the social media, I just like feel like a lot of the resources have been like really emphasizing how learning is a social process and that like being social does support bilingual students, one to be able to like speak in their own language with other peers that do, and also to acquire like new vocabulary. So I think that social media is like a really good place to do both of those things because it's both a individual act of like seeing what you're interested in, but also a social space to connect with other people. But I haven't really used it in my programming.
One thing that I use a lot is like, I don't know if this is not in the right vein here, but like Newsella, just for like switching languages quickly and like switching reading levels quickly. So like all students can access it. Um, I guess that's what I use a lot with my like English language learners. But like, yeah, social media is like a huge presence now, and it's like such a jumping off point where you can reach like so many people. So that's probably going to be like what I imagine is next for, making the change for the students in the world.
Hey
totally.
Yolanda, what's up, girly?
Hi, I'm so sorry, guys. I couldn't connect before.
No worries.
No
Couldn't
worries.
send you an email. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We are kind of maybe a little close to wrapping up, so maybe you can maybe just share like a few thoughts on critical pedagogy if you have, and like
Uh,
maybe we were just talking about ways we kind of implement new techniques in the classroom that kind of fall under this. So if you have any ideas from your notes to add, but if not, we can keep going too.
Yeah, so basically kind of the same, like being in a bilingual classroom, yeah, sometimes it's like a challenge because we had to do like in both languages. Like today I was doing start progress monitoring to students. So we did it in English, so we had to do it tomorrow in Spanish. And it really encouraged me to and students because like I said, sometimes it's like a challenge because sometimes like the English classes on they have to do only once, like just English, and we had to do both. So it's kind of in kind of inequity, something like that.
Yeah, it's an inequity totally. And that kind of bounces off the point that Ali was talking about kind of right before you joined. I don't know uh, how to connect it exactly, but yeah, good point.
Absolutely. Major inequities.
Cool.
Just like one more thought I have on social media is like it's such a cool tool to use, and like I don't even understand all of it necessarily, but like to kind of I think it's important for us to realize how, and you guys probably already do and know this, but like how involved it is in students' lives. So like that like connection there, that bridge is already there. And so if we can utilize that, um, I think that would just make us like better teachers as a whole. But also to be like careful with it and to, set boundaries and rules around the use of it. Like we don't necessarily just want our kids to get out their phones and be on TikTok during the school day. But I think that's just for each teacher to determine a balance there. So just something I wanted to add.
It's throwing me back to the days of Kahoot.
Oh, I love that game.
Yes.
Right.
Everybody loves a good Kahoot.
I was never a fan of that. It was
Nope.
good.
Maggie's not a girl.
Yeah. So Yolanda, we were looking at question 7 on page 113, kind of about social media and technology. But yeah, it's moving so quickly, especially the social media like TikTok and AI.
Yeah.
So yeah, instead of I guess being afraid of it in the classroom, utilizing it and kind of leaning into it and not being afraid of it, I guess is a
Yeah.
good way to take advantage.
Yeah. Use it, and especially because sometimes students they see things in technology like in those social medias that sometimes I'm not aware that what's going on or things like that because like I'm not I'm not like social media person, but because of them sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see, I want to know what they are watching or what they are aware of, what's going on like around the world or something, because sometimes they are talking and I'm like, what are they talking about, because it's something that they saw on social media or things like that.
Yeah, totally.
I think that ties us back like full circle to the beginning when we were talking a little bit about like complexity and stuff too, because I feel like social media and technology is a space where there's access to so many different things and so many different perspectives, and it really can get you in the weeds, I suppose.
Right. It's a good resource.
Yeah, it's a culture within itself. I mean, just like communicating on social media, I feel like that is like the kids probably know it better than I do.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Same here.
It's most
Exactly. Well, our free meeting is coming to an end. But thank you all for hopping on. And yeah, it was a good discussion. It's interesting and it applies to all of our workplaces, and it's cool to learn all about what you guys are doing too. So
Yeah. Thank you so much. And sorry again, I had all my notes here, but because of the rush, now I'm like, what did I read? What do I have here?
no problem. I'll include you.
Sorry.
I'll include you in the summary. No worries.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Anything else?
good stuff. No. I guess is there a day that works best for everyone? I know we have a pretty flexible schedule, but I know you guys are actually like at a school where it might be more restrictive, and I want like everyone to be included. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Is there like a day that works best for you guys?
I'm usually like a Sunday guy if possible, but I know maybe if people don't want to take up their weekend.
Yeah.
If
No.
I don't know, that was just me too, also.
Okay.
We only have one more Zoom left. I think
Oh,
me and Mitchell are facilitating that one, so we can do like a little poll or something the week ahead of time.
yeah.
Yeah, no, for me it's okay because